Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. The holidays are almost over. It is New Year's Eve, though, so a lot of people are going to be having fun tonight, maybe going out, partying, having family get-togethers. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Have someone drive you. I want to make sure. I've got so few subscribers. I want to make sure you make it back tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But I do want everybody to be safe. So I just kind of want to take a quick minute and say that. I hope everybody had a great year. We are pushing into the next year. Hopefully next year is going to be even better than the previous year because we had an amazing year for silver, and both silver and gold, really. And even if you're a crypto person, you had a good year, even though it's taken a little bit of a hit right now. But you've done really well this year. So hopefully next year is going to be better for all of us, and we'll see how it plays out. With that being said, I had a comment come in recently, and the comment was basically, when do you consider starting to sell your silver? This individual said he doesn't really have any family, and so, he don't see the point in just saving it until he's bedridden and can't do anything. So it's a fine line there. We're going to talk a little bit about that and what my thoughts are on that. We're all in different positions when it comes to that. But I think it's important that we do talk about the possibility, no matter whether you have family or you don't have family, at what point do you even consider selling precious metals? Now, some people right off the bat have the attitude, I ain't never selling. I'll turn it over to my kids. It ain't going nowhere. But there's a possibility that maybe you will sell. And I've seen that happen time and time again. People that say they will never sell, and then something just goes up so high in price that they're like, should I sell? And in my opinion, yeah, I mean, if there's big profit potential there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you enjoyed the video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out, especially today, because my numbers are down for the month again, unfortunately. And today's the last day that I have the opportunity to try to rack up some numbers. So hit that thumbs up button. YouTube doesn't punish us, but it doesn't look good if we don't meet our, I guess you can say, quota, even though I push to do mine every month. Some people, they don't even really care. They just kind of roll with whatever. So please hit that thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on selling your silver. And let's get started, and I'll tell you guys my opinion. Okay, so first of all, I got to say, there's a couple things you got to consider when thinking about this. The first one being, I don't want to be 80 years old and working at Walmart, especially because I retired fairly early in life. And a lot of people, will say, why'd you quit working? You're still eligible. You could still work if you wanted to. But you guys know I got a military background, and once I was up for it, I'm taking it. It's not the same for everybody. Some people want to work until their last breath. I can tell you right now, my dad literally was working 2 months before he passed away. He was extremely successful. He was addicted to hard work, and I guess, I don't know if I should say hard work, but definitely work. He worked behind a desk, so he had his own company. But, he didn't really have time to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And so there's a fine line there of, you don't want to be working because you have to at 80 years old. But on the flip side, you don't want to run out of money at 70 and then have to rely on other people or have to just make ends meet. I know some people, they have the little meals delivered to their house, the hospice meals or whatever. I don't know what it is. They're on Medicaid. They're on all these state things. And it's a fine line there. I'm not knocking anybody that's on benefits, obviously. The system is broken, and we spend a lot of money on stupid stuff. So, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. If you qualify for something, I would take it, because government ain't going to have money much longer at the rate they're spending with other stuff going on around the world. With that being said, though, like I said, there's a fine line there. So, obviously, if you have kids, you have a previous generation to hand it down to, well then, it's an easy choice. You enjoy life, you work, you stack your extra money in the form of precious metals, And if you happen to pass away earlier, because you never know when your last day is going to be. I have one of my friends, he gives me such a hard time because he thinks I'm too tight with my money. And he thinks I should be enjoying my money a little bit more. And to a certain point, yes, maybe I could be, but you know what? I enjoy my life just the way I am and what I do. And when I push myself to save, I'm doing it for a couple of different reasons. One, because I've got a little bit of a hoarding disorder, to where I tend to want to keep everything. And so tightening up on my money, it makes me have to use stuff. It makes me have to work on projects. You tighten up because if you don't go out spending money, then essentially you're going to find and work on your projects that you got to do at home. And that's a good thing. But on the flip side, like I said, when do you sell then? I mean, there's so many different factors in that equation. And the honest answer is you almost have to look at how much you have in your stack. So let's say you have acquired $10,000 in silver. And I'm just pulling out, this is such a hard answer to tailor to everybody. So I'm only got to use rough numbers. So let's hypothetically say you've got $10,000 in silver stacked up, which a lot of the stacking community does not have $10,000. $10,000 in silver, that's a lot of ounces. But let's say you have that. You think, because you have to estimate how much longer you will be around, essentially. You have no one to leave it to. You've got to. If, let's say, you think, I got 10 more years to go, then the obvious answer that a lot of people would say is, okay, cash in $1,000 worth of silver every year for the next 10 years, and there you go. You have no one to leave it to. Obviously, what do you do with it? I've got to stress that again. This person said he has no one to leave it to. I know there's a lot of people commenting, hey, do you need my mailing address? Just let me know. I'm just kidding. So I would definitely, but here's the problem too with that. Even if you do that, you estimate you got 10 years. You can't estimate when the Reaper is going to come knocking. I've seen people live to 100, and I've seen people pass away now in their 40s. So there's such a spectrum of what could happen. All you can do is, do the best. What I would say is have a certain amount. I would not want to do the $1,000 a month, a year. And the reason I wouldn't necessarily want to go that rate, because if you live longer, if something collapses and now you ain't getting Social Security or whatever your retirement is, whatever the case may be, the whole point of stacking is for an emergency fund. That's why I stack. I stack because if something bad happens, I want to be prepared. Right now, I get a retirement from the military. I pretty much rely on that right now. I mean, I have a rental property. I have a few other little income streams. I've always said you should have multiple income streams. Some of the richest people in the world, they find different ways to generate money. Because when one stream collapses, something else will take its place. Now, obviously, if the US dollar collapsed and my retirement income stream collapsed with it, I would have to solely fall back on silver and start selling my collection down, because what else options would I have? And that's the biggest worry for a lot of people. I look at stacking silver as essentially an insurance policy. And the insurance aspect of it, normally when you buy an insurance policy, you don't get your money back if nothing happens. But in a stacking aspect, each year, you can afford to stack less and less. If you're sitting on $10,000 in silver right now, and you still think you got 10 years, I don't know if I would rush to sell it, but I definitely wouldn't be buying more. And I know some people are going to frown on that. Oh, why wouldn't you buy the dip? You know what? If you've already got a certain amount, you've got your insurance policy. It's almost like if you've got XYZ, you've got $10,000 in insurance, life insurance, and then all of a sudden every year you're just buying more and more and more. I mean, is there a real point to it? If you've got nobody, I have to emphasize, if you have no one to leave it to, I listened to a story the other day. I don't want this video to be too long. I listened to a story the other day of a old man that his wife passed away, his kids moved away, and he was living alone. And he was going to end up getting put in a nursing home, an assisted living home. And he didn't want to go. He remembered what his days were like in the Philippines, in Asia. And he said, you know what, it was actually the Philippines. I say Asia, but, you know, he was stationed over there during the whole war. And he remembered how much fun he had. And he said, I want to do one last hurrah. He went over there. He has 4 ladies that take care of him that are, this is kind of funny, caretakers slash girlfriends. They take care of him. They cook for him. They make sure he is covered at every angle. If they're willing to build your house for $10 a day with the skilled crafts, then a girl you could hire for $5 a day. And these girls are his girlfriends, his caretakers. They really look out for him. Now, he's paying for that. Plus, he said, this was where I laughed. He said he goes and gets massages 2 days a week with happy endings. And I was like, dude, this guy's like 70-something and he's getting happy endings every week. And it made me laugh. But, I mean, it's interesting. It's really interesting because, you know, he didn't know how it was going to play out. He did that. Now, obviously, if he was a silver stacker, then he probably sold his stack. Now, you go over there, I've said this already because I look at all possibilities, me wanting to go over there. If I go over there and something major happens, I am a long ways away from my silver stack because I'm not bringing, someone asked me, are you going to bring your silver stack if you move over there? No, of course not. In fact, I would probably even sell some of it down. And I know some people would be like, what, you would sell? Well, yeah, I mean, to a certain point. Now, I wouldn't sell if the prices dipped. I had someone ask me, what number would I start selling some at? I mean, my number, I want $45 before I sell anything. $45 an ounce. Now, that's not unbelievable. In fact, that's easy for me to say that. And I base that because when I first started buying, silver was half that. And actually, it was even less than half because it was only, $15, $16. But on the flip side, I can sell them, double it, and get a good portion of my money back and still have a certain amount of a safety net. Let's hypothetically say, though, you sell today and you live a long time. You get burned. You're for sure going to run out of money. Because from what I understand, Social Security, it's hard to live off Social Security here in the United States. I don't know exactly what it is for each person, but I've talked to people and they're like $600-700 a month, $800 I've heard as high as. But could you really live off that? These people are just getting by. By the time you take out the water bill, the power bill, maybe some medicines, whatever the case may be, they're stretching it. And that's really where silver you could sell a little bit of your silver off. I picture myself being an old man. I picture silver being $100 an ounce and being able to give someone an ounce of silver and say, hey, how about you mow my lawn, go pick me up a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, a pack of bologna or whatever, and a couple ramen noodles, whatever, and that's it. It would cover it. Keep in mind, food prices going up, gas prices going up. And I know I got commented on the other day and someone's like, the prices ain't going up, the dollar's going down. Absolutely. But you know what? Silver's going up as well because the dollar's going down. Everything is going up because the dollars are going down. And they're going down, but at a certain point they could become worthless. That's really where the silver stack is going to come into play. I don't buy silver right now with the intent to sell it. Do I give some away to people? Do I sell an ounce here and there? Of course. But usually there's deals involved with that. If I need something from someone and I know they're a stacker, then I use that to my advantage. Not too long ago, I need a little bit of wood for a project. And I told someone, I said, hey, you still got that extra wood just kicking there, not doing anything with? He goes, yeah, why, you need it? I said, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an ounce of silver. You give me that scrap wood and you can buy me lunch one day. And he's like, heck yeah, I'm cool with that. And it benefited both of us. Did I get rid of an ounce of silver? Yeah, I wasn't going to buy that stuff though for $30. And he was willing to give it up for free, but I don't like to take stuff from people for free. I like to try to find something they can use, and then it works in everybody's favor. You have to understand, though, we don't know what is going to happen. I can't stress that enough. If you sell your stack too early, you will be broke when you're older. If you sell it too late, there's a possibility you will pass away with it, and that's it. I would probably end up, if I was in your position, I would probably rather give it to a friend. Maybe you got a kid that helps you out once in a while in your neighborhood. I would rather, tell him, hey, check in on me. Hey, let me tell you this. And you don't have to tell him what you have. If you ever come over here in the morning and I'm deceased, I want you to come in my house and I want you to take these items. Because truthfully, if you have no family, who's going to get that? The state? Uncle Sam? It's crazy. I've rarely met people in that situation. Most people have some sort, they have a child, but in some cases, today's world, people don't get along with each other. Families are divided. I hate to get into any kind of religious, because I know some people are not religious, but, even the Bible says in the end, people will be divided. Father against mother, son against father, daughter against mother. And it's not just because it says in the Bible, but here's the thing. People today a lot of people can't take any kind of debate. I had a huge discussion with someone today on one topic, and it went really good. We chatted on Discord, and it was a great discussion. But some people out there are not open to any kind of a discussion. If you are outside of the mainstream, we actually talked a little bit about this on our live stream. We talked about stuff like the flat earth theory. We've talked about stuff like, did we go to space? Did we go to the moon? Was the moon landing real or staged? And some people, they can't handle debate. I had one of my friends, a close, dear friend of mine. He's been a friend since I was literally 10, 15. I've always looked up to him. He's a close friend. He's always had my back. And you don't have many of them friends that literally will look out for you when you're that young, and still to this day. He had asked me one day, he said, let me ask you a question. And I got to walk a fine line here, and I'm about ready to wrap it up. He said, do you think, I got one question for you. Do you really think that the event that happened 4 years ago, you guys have to read between the lines a little bit, was rigged? And I said, yes, I do. And he goes, you're crazy. He goes, I can't even believe you would say that. With how smart you are and how thought you put into it. I said, can you honestly say there was not one person out there that tried to rig it? One person. You're asking me if it was rigged. If I worked in that position and I wanted a certain outcome, I might be tempted to sway. Now, would my little bit of a sway make a big difference? Me working maybe as a postman throws away a little bit of stuff, and would that sway it? Who knows? And I know this is a debate that there's people that are watching this video right now saying, I don't believe it was rigged. Well, here's the thing. I'm looking at rigged, in my opinion of rigged. If one person did something dishonest, then it was rigged. I have a firm belief that at least somebody out there, did something wrong. I know his viewpoint was, nah, there's no way anybody did. I said, you really think not one person in the U.S. tried to make a difference in that event? And I'm cautious to not say the event because I don't want to get hit, even though I'm sure the algorithm knows what event I'm talking about 4 years ago. With that being said, there's huge amounts of debate in the world, and that's why people are divided, and that's why in some cases you really may not have someone to leave your stuff to. But you have to remember, you're leaving. If I'm leaving, I want the people that I want to get my stuff to get my stuff. And if I don't know. It's just such a hard question to debate. That's why this video is going a little longer. At first, when I started, I thought it would kind of be easy, but I thought and thought about it, and I said, it's a hard question. Because where do you decide to let go of it? You let it go too early, you're out. You let it go too late, then you pass away with it, and I don't know who would get it. And somebody would go to an auction, then the estate, then the state. I would think everybody has some sort of dependent out there, but I mean, I guess there are going to be, some people that don't. I would leave it to the kid that mows my lawn before I left it to the state. I would probably say get a will done. Think about someone that you really has helped you out. Maybe that's a caretaker. Maybe that's a kid in your neighborhood that comes over and checks on you and drops you off stuff once in a while. I mean, but even then, you don't see that in kids much nowadays. I actually know there was a huge piece of land that I seen get donated in one of the surrounding cities. The guy passed away and donated it to the Humane Society, just so they could build a new, what do they call it, like a pet shelter, I guess you call it, a pound maybe, a city pound, a city pet shelter. And that's what happened to the land, because he didn't have anybody to leave it to. So it's something you got to think about, but it's a hard thing to really talk about, because a lot of people don't like talking about their situation. Warren Buffett just had an issue with it the other day. He sat, not the other day, like a few months ago, he said in a meeting that he had to sit down and talk with all of his kids, that he's leaving them enough money to do whatever they want, but not enough money to do nothing. And a lot of times when people pass away, there's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of arguments, debates, that type of stuff, and it causes friction, and it's hard. I would never want to be in that position, even though I guess when that happens, I'll be passed away, so it won't matter. I won't be thinking about it. But on the flip side, I want the people that I have stuff planned out for to get what I want them to get. And, obviously, I mean, some people are easy spots, and other people may not be as easy to figure out. They may not even know. In fact, there are people that I want to leave stuff to that probably don't know that they would get anything. But here's the thing. You're a stacker. You've got a bunch of silver. You got a bunch of gold. You leave anything to them, they're not going to complain. Oh, hey, I left you 100 ounces of silver. Who would complain about that? So it's something to consider, and people have to consider this. We talked about the wills a little while back. If you didn't watch that video, go check that out. Definitely, I'm going to wind the video up here, but as I do, I'm going to say one last thing. Check out some of my short videos. It will really help out the channel if you watch them. Leave a thumbs up on them. Help me generate a little buzz today if you have a little extra time on your hands. Or if you got a computer, just play the video in the background. I got to try to boost up my views a little bit today. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.